What's good, people? We back with a new video. You already know what it is. It's your boy James Mack, man, and hopefully you guys doing pretty good, man. I got a couple topics to talk to you about today in the news. First, I don't know if y'all heard about it. Elon is back at it again. A lot of people say it's a big deal. A lot of people say it's not a big deal. What do you guys think? What am I talking about? Well, a few days ago, his SpaceX program, where he launches his rockets into space, what is it? Starlink, providing internet for people that don't have internet in certain areas of the world. He uses these rockets for random things. And recently he shot a rocket aimed at the moon to intentionally, allegedly, not 100 on that, intentionally crash it into the moon. This was basically a test done that he was allowed to do, to shoot a rocket into space and crash it into the moon to see what happens. What do you think? How do you feel about that? You want my opinion? I think it's crazy as hell, to be honest with you. How can, just because you a trillionaire, billionaire, you shouldn't be allowed to do whatever you want to do? I don't care what it is, and to do things like that is like what do you want? I seen some articles saying that he was doing it to test the possibility of having structures on the moon. You know what I'm saying? So basically he's saying he's doing it for future visions of building space stations over there and then possibly going to Mars from there, I'm thinking. But a lot of people say that, but then I'm saying, like, it's just crazy, because how can you allow anybody to do something like that without knowing the repercussions of it? And yes, they say that the moon, that's why it has a lot of craters, that things hit it all the time. But okay, maybe that's like for our benefit. Like, it deflects a lot of the the world enders into the moon for protection, and then here you go purposely crashing stuff into it. It could possibly throw it off course and if the moon, I'm not saying the rocket was that big either. And the video y'all saw probably online, if you go look it up, I think it's AI. NASA has a picture of the aftermath. You can barely tell, which is crazy. NASA got these garbage ass telescopes, you know what I'm saying? But you can get a P900 or a P1000 and get better pictures. But anyway, you can see the damage it did, which it wasn't much, I guess, but still, to do it is like, who's to say that it wouldn't change the course of things or cause something to happen, and you just doing it just to run a test. Back in the day, a few years back, I think, I'm not 100%, but he had promoted and video him shooting a car, Tesla, into space. And even back then, I was like he get to do what he want. Who shooting cars into space so it can be floating in space forever? I get it. They say space is infinite, but still, you know what I mean? It's just a little wild to me that people, if you got stature like that or, finances like that, you could basically be a supervillain out here and do whatever you want to do. But what do y'all think? Do you think it's for the benefit of mankind? Do you think it's, I'm not saying that he's not doing it for mankind, but do you think it's right to do it, even though it benefits mankind? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can go say, yeah, we're going to build these homes for the homeless, but we have to chop down half the rainforest. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that really good? You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I'm looking at it. And some stuff, I mean, if it's been there all this time, leave it alone. We good over here on Earth. They say that the Earth is overpopulated. I don't believe that, because if you look at, I'm not saying who gonna live in Antarctica, but you got Antarctica, you got places of the world that ain't even been discovered yet, or just if it's been discovered, people haven't set foot over there. You got tribes of people that's never seen what we seen. Like, they would see this video and call it witchcraft, or they don't even know what year it is. They don't know the year. You know what I'm saying? They don't believe in religion. They haven't seen none of that. They still living the way you could say the way their ancestors live till this day, while cars are driving by themselves. You know what I'm saying? And to say that we running out of places to go or live and things like that, I don't believe that. So to do this is just, I think it's a big power move. You know, you got all these billionaires doing things, trillionaires doing things that they basically want to do. They run the world. I hate to say it. And they get to shoot rockets at the moon if they want, you know. But yeah, I just thought that was crazy. I really did, man. I was going over my notes and I seen a few videos of it. I'm like, yo, why? You know what I mean? But he got his plans. I know like his biggest plan is to put life on Mars. And this is just a stepping stone, I'm guessing, you know, because they did the big space launch where they went behind the moon and came back. So now he's shooting, landing things on the moon to see how it reacts. So I'm guessing that's just the building block to get to the moon space station, then set up shop there to get to Mars, where it's less energy needed to travel versus going from Earth to Mars. You can go from the moon to Mars and possibly land. I guess they would shoot another rocket from the moon onto Mars to see how that would react, and then eventually go from the moon to Mars and put a space station there, and then start, you know, building structures and possibly people living there. So what do you think about that? You know, that's down the pipeline. You know, granted, some of us, I would hope all of us would be here to see that, but you know, that takes a long time. So, you know, if we lucky enough to see that, and maybe our kids will get to see it and things like that if it goes through. But what do y'all think about that? You know, as far as like living on Mars and possibly life leaving Earth to go to Mars. Like, it gotta be, if this is, I guess this could be his vision. This could be something that he just wants to do. He got the finances. He loves space. He always wanted to live on Mars. Or the way I'm thinking, you know, do you know something we don't know? Why is it such a big need to leave Earth? Because like I said, there's plenty space here, and you trying to leave the whole planet? Like, what's going on? I don't know, but maybe he wants to rule Mars. Maybe he wants to be like the king of Mars. He got the money, so, you know, they think different with that money, those trillion and billionaires or whatever. But I don't know. That's just my wheel spinning in my head. And I don't know, man, but that's all I got for that topic. Yeah, y'all let me know in the comments what you think. And we're going to get right into this next topic. So the next topic, this is brand new too. These cyber attacks on water treatment plants in the United States. I think it's up to 12. And allegedly, they saying it's coming from, and I might have to bleep that out, but that's what they're saying. And they're saying that they did it via Wi-Fi, where they tried to hack the systems of the water plants, water treatment plants, where we get our drinking water and stuff from, and tried to shut these different places down. And these was in, like I said, over a dozen states, not just one place, over a dozen states across the US, where they tried to shut it down. And they said that they traced the IP back to, you know where. So they're saying that they've been preparing this before the whole conflict even went off. They're saying that they've done this. It was 3 months before the initial firing happened, where they got the conflict going. So they're saying that they've been planning this for a long time. So they're playing chess, not checkers type of thing. So I was looking at it and I seen the whole scoop and the news clips and everything of what they saying about it. And I'm like, I always think on both sides. I'm thinking at first, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. That's the initial thought that I had, because, the news, they will feed you something over and over, and it creates fear. You know, you can look at the news any day of the week and see something where they try to get you hyped up or, you know, scared. So I'm like, damn, that's crazy. So they trying to attack the water. So what do we need to do? Is it in my state? You know, do I need to stock up on water? And then the other side of me is like, you know, this whole conflict between, you know, what's going on or whatever. It's like, are they just looking for an excuse to validate why they did what they did? Because, you know, the U.S. initially was just aiding one side because allegedly that one side has the current administration of the U.S. by the balls. And they had to play and do what they told them to do. And I'm not saying that this is true. This is just my opinion. I'm thinking this is just a way to not smoke screen, but try to validate why they playing the game they playing over there. You know what I'm saying? And they blame them and say, hey, this is why. Well, not even to say this is why, but it's like, look, American people, you see what they did? You see what they did? It's not so bad now, the things we did to them. You know, because they was trying to mess y'all water up. They was trying to do this, that, and the third. I'm not saying that's true, but that's how I think. I'm on both sides of the coin because I have to think logically. Because you mean to tell me 3 months before it popped off, y'all didn't know? Y'all just now putting it out after all the backlash? Because you look online, you know, the U.S. getting hella backlash for being involved in it at all. We had no reason to do what we did or be in that position where we at all. So I see that as like, okay, now you want to bring that up, or now you want to show us that, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of fishy, man. You got to be like a free thinker or a little more logical versus being emotional and looking at the screen and listening to whatever they tell us. Because, I mean, time and time again, it's been done. It's the same playbook. You know what I mean? It's about as crazy as, you know, they telling us that one of our presidents was hit with a magic bullet. If you know, you know. And people believe it. This is the same thing to me. It's, well, not as bad, but, you know, same book, different chapter. But this is the magic bullet theory, you know, or this is why we did this, or, you know, just telling us BS is basically what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's the exact thing, but they will feed us BS to, you know, I guess calm the masses down, even though it don't make sense. You know, it makes no sense. You tell us everything else. We had no issues with those people, and we just was playing follow the leader. And look what happened, and you getting backlash from your own people. So, you know, you're trying to play cover up, you know, and that's the way I see it. I don't know how you guys see it. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? If you do, let me know, because, hey, if you wholeheartedly trust the system, something's wrong with your thinking. Not you personally, but, you know, you've been trained well, you know, and I'm not the one to be trained. You know, I'm off the leash. You know, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's crazy, man. This whole world right now is crazy. You know, we got trillionaires trying to leave the planet, and we in this big conflict. And, you know, I keep saying conflict because of YouTube guidelines. You know, they'll block me if I say the W word. And it's like, it ain't getting no better the way I see it. Hopefully it does, but I don't see it, man. It's like they got something on him to where he has to play ball. And if he don't, the whole administration going down. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't know where we headed with that. What I can say, though, you know, you see all these billionaires and stuff getting bunkers and stuff built underground and things like that. And I think the president now has plans. I think I seen some. Don't quote me on this, but I think he's getting a bunker built under the White House. So, you know, when they try to move him out, he's going to live under the White House. which is crazy. Because a lot of people say he not leaving, and I can kind of believe it, man. He crazy enough to pull it, But yeah, the way everything is going right now, what I was gonna say, and I'm gonna end it after this. Show love to your family, protect what's yours, your family, your loved ones, and stay ready so you won't have to get ready, man. I don't know where it's going to go. I'm not saying it's going anywhere, but if it does, just be ready. Stay locked and loaded. You know what I mean? Have you an emergency bag? I got one. Be ready for anything. Electricity go out. You need to start a fire. Just gas mask. I got it. I got my bag. You know what I mean? You should be ready for that. Get your dry goods, dry foods and things like that, because let's just say for the sake of argument that they did attack the water, then you can't have fresh drinking water, then what are you going to do? Just think ahead. That's all I'm saying. And I hate to end it like that with this kind of dark, twisted type of talk, but it's reality and it could happen. We not invincible. So just do the best you can, love your neighbor, talk to your neighbor, and y'all can become a force too, or you got somebody that you can trust. When it hit the fan, y'all link up, but let's hope it don't even get there. Let's hope they get some sense and it just ends peacefully. That's what I want. But we'll see. With that being said, man, you know what it is. It's your boy James Mack, and I'll be back sooner than later. Peace out.